Hey everyone, Fake Gamer Guy here with my PAX Prime 2016 build blog. This is the first time I'll be bringing my PC to the BYOC LAN at PAX, so I decided to take care of a few cosmetic issues before the event. The biggest change is going to be the layout of the cooling system. I wasn't happy with the weird angles of the acrylic tubes. It looked like it was my first attempt at making hard lines, and that's because it was. The idea was to put the radiator in the front of the case, which would mean I needed a lot less plumbing. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough space to fit the radiator, fans, pump, and the reservoir where the hard drives would normally be, so I put it back on top and spun it around so the inlet and outlet were at the front of the case. Unfortunately, the battery in my camera died, so you don't get to see me struggling to fit the radiator and the fans. Speaking of hard drives, I had stashed my 3TB hard drive in the very top of the hard drive bay, but with the radiator plumbing taking up that spot, I ended up having to hide the hard drive in the basement where the power supply goes. Once everything else was in place, it was time to bend the tubes. This time I ordered PETG tubing rather than acrylic because it's more forgiving if you mess up a bend. This time I only needed a few 90-degree bends, which made the build really fast. There was one part where I used a 90-degree fitting, which I'll eventually replace with a single piece of PETG. A couple days after I wrapped up the build, I realized I had run the water backwards through the water block. I drained the system, flipped the block over, and refilled the system. While I had everything apart, I took the opportunity to switch the locations of the SSD and the NZXT Q Plus controller. It always bugged me that the SSD wasn't on the right side, and it looks much cleaner there. That basically wraps it up. If you have any questions about the build or how I did something, feel free to leave a comment below.